the sky. Look for reasons why. Mainly what I know isn't what I know. Once I come from fear, once I hold the fire, I'll be the first one down. I'll be the first one to overcome. While my birds and clouds, while my birds to overcome. While my birds and clouds, while my birds. Nothing in the trees, nothing I can see. Everything inside has its own memory. Would love to change the frame, would love to blame the rain. I am the weather now. Watch me as I come down to overcome. While my birds are clouds, while my birds to overcome. While my birds are clouds, while my birds to overcome. While my birds are clouds, while my birds to overcome. While my birds are clouds, while my birds. 10,000 stars tonight. I look for reasons why. Mainly what I know.
Hello, you lovely Bitcoiners. This is Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, back with another video in my series Bitcoin for Beginners. It is Monday, the 4th of May 2020. Strong Bitcoin hand, people. That is the name of the game on this channel. You all know that. You can see the disclaimer up here or up here somewhere. So I'm not giving any type of financial advice, so don't think I am. Okay, just get that out of the way. Let me quickly just give a shout out to my websites, ukbitcoinmaster.com and bitcoininterviews.com. They speak for themselves, so do check those out. They will come up afterwards at the end of the show if you are watching this on YouTube, of course. This is also going out on all the other platforms. Facebook, it is going out on BitTube, Library TV, and also there will be a podcast version of this probably later on this evening or tomorrow for those that want to listen in the car, etc. etc. And finally, a quick tipping.me address for those that want to drop a lightning tip, but of course you don't have to. It's there for those that want it. Okay, I want to get over into the chat. I can see JC Botha from down in South Africa. John Stramitis is in. Buffy W, Zaza, my lovely wife Elaine. Guy Bennett is in the house. Great to have you with us, Guy. Andy BTC, Paul Roulau, I think I saw a little bit earlier in there. So Paul, if you're still here, great to have you with us as well. And great to have all of you with us in the future as you find this channel. Now, before we get going with the news, I want to run a quick video for you all that is 1 minute and 7 seconds. It was kindly sent to me by JC Botha. So JC, thank you so much. I thought it was very bullish. Have a listen to this, people.
Quickly, before we go, Bitcoin was under 8,000 earlier today.
Buy it.
Regardless, though, of the drop. If I said to you Bitcoin dropped to 5,000, you'd say buy it.
Buy it. Because here's the thing. The daily price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. It's been alive for 10 years. In every year, other than one, 2015, it's made a higher low. The market cap has grown every single year. Every fundamental indicator of Bitcoin, usage, wallets, block size, transaction size, number of transactions, every single one, hash rate, making new highs. All of the indicators of the network and the network value are rising. The price of any asset fluctuates. Let's take Amazon. Amazon has been a public company for 20 years. In every year, including this year, it's at a double-digit drawdown. The average peak to trough, minus 31%. Twice, minus 90%. When was the right time to sell? Never. Who's owned it since the IPO to today? Jeff and his mom and dad. That's it.
All right. We're going to leave it there, Mark.
All right,
Good to see you.
thanks
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Mark
Great to be
Yusko,
with
Morgan
you.
Creek Capital.
Do I need to say any more? I could wrap the show up with that, couldn't I? What did he say? When's a good time to sell? Never. You know, what a bullish video. JC, thank you for sending that to me. I want a quick shout out to Andrew Williams, who's just tuning in from New Zealand. Andrew, welcome to the channel. Pound the like button, people. That is so important so that this channel stays relevant. Hopefully with enough people viewing it and liking it, we can get it over into that right-hand column on YouTube so that people can see it, because those types of things will all help the overall adoption of Bitcoin. The more people, the more Bitcoin's price goes up, the more people will start to hear about it, the more people that will go searching on YouTube for Bitcoin videos. This is what we need. They need to find these channels. There aren't that many regular guy channels out there that don't talk a load of charts and technical analysis. There are ordinary folk that want to find ordinary videos that they can sort of get their head around. So it's really important that you pound that like button. Again, if you want to get my attention, if you type in UK Bitcoin Master before you type any question, it will highlight it for me, as my lovely daughter Buffy has just done. Say no more at all, UK Bitcoin Master. Love that. Thank you, my darling. It's great when you get your kids on the show, isn't it? Supporting you, and not just supporting you, but thoroughly enjoying the show. And as Buffy's rightly said to me, wouldn't miss the show. So that's really nice. Oh, sorry, Andrew, the Netherlands. I thought I saw NZ. Sorry, the chat's flashing up like the clappers. It is from the Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. Love Holland. Fantastic. Okay, need to get on with the show. So I'm going to head over to the desktop and let's see what we've got in store. Okay, so the Bitcoin price is sort of moving sideways, but as you can see, it's recovered from the 3,000, just under 4,000 crash of March, crikey, 13th, I believe it was. So, you know, back to just under 9K. That's pretty well recovered, hasn't it? You know, so we've got the halving coming up in just a handful of days. So, you know, tweet this out and underneath hashtag halving hype so we can ramp up the hype towards the halving. As my shirt says, UK Bitcoin Master, ask me about Bitcoin. You know what? We are so early in all of this. No one asked me about Bitcoin. I've got my Bitcoin bracelet on. Nobody asked me what it is or about Bitcoin. That's how early we are in this, peeps. So if you are finding this channel today in May 2020 or next year 2021 or 2022, 2025, it doesn't matter what the price is doing. We are still early in all of this. You heard what that guy just said on CNBC. Stop worrying about the day-to-day price, because what you should be looking at is the long term. Oh dear. We have Mr. Gary O'Connell in the house again. He wants to know if this is the Thai dating channel. And Gary O'Connell, by the way, everyone, Gary's the guy that gave me that all-important phone call. Have I heard about Bitcoin? But he's a bit of a character, and he wants to find out if this is the Thai dating show. And Gary, no, it is not. It is the Bitcoin show. But welcome anyway. Great to have you with us. So like I've said, the price is still hovering just under the 9K mark. Absolutely superb time to accumulate Bitcoin, because the halving's creeping right up now, just over a week. Then over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Look, we can't make any predictions. Don't try and predict what's going to happen. Just have your strong hand in Bitcoin, hold it on your Trezor, and just allow the markets to decide what's going to happen and enjoy the ride. Because on a personal level, I think it is going to be an incredible ride. What does JC just said? Gary for president. No, you do not want Gary O'Connell for president, I can tell you. Well, if you want a president that cracks jokes and sends you stuff, then I suppose he's worth being president for. Sorry, on with the show. Flipping Gary O'Connell, you always throw me off my train of thought. So, I found this article, Bitcoin halving, a new class of Bitcoin millionaires may emerge. This is from Forbes. So, reputable, you could say. I'm not going to read it to you, but I did highlight something down here that it was worth a shout out. It says more Bitcoin millionaires may materialize. During the previous 2 Bitcoin halvings, countless millionaires were created. J.R. Forsyth, the founder of Onfo, was one of them. He was studying maths as an undergraduate and was exposed to Bitcoin and digital ledger technology. I think what we're saying here is I personally believe that this halving is going to be so different to the last 2. There is more awareness of Bitcoin. I actually feel that most people in the world now know about Bitcoin. They don't know what it is. They don't know the 7 network effects of Bitcoin that give it its strength. They don't know, or they don't grasp the scarcity aspect, the cutting in half every 210,000 blocks or 4 years of the supply of Bitcoin. And of course, that the higher demand, the less supply, the higher the price, etc. They don't get any of that, but people are aware of it more. So I just believe that there's going to be a massive wealth transfer over time from the OGs and the Warren Buffetts of the world and the Richard Bransons of the world. And I think the new millionaires, billionaires, and even trillionaires are going to be Bitcoiners. I think the Winklevi twins are the ones vying to be the first Bitcoin trillionaires. But you know what? It's also going to come to the mum and pops next door. The people maybe like myself and you that are regular people that understand and grasp this concept, where those people that have currently got successful traditional businesses don't quite get the power of this and where it can go. And if you imagine 7 point whatever it is, 2 billion on the planet, or 7.8 or whatever it is, you imagine 21 million coins and 18 million are already out there, and probably about 14 million of them are scooped up and they're on people's hardware devices and nobody's moving them, or whatever the figures are. Don't quote the figures, but you take the point. There isn't going to be a lot of this thing to go round. So when everyone catches on, I'm telling you, peeps, it's too late. It's over. When the masses catch on to this, it is done and dusted. The fortunes are going to be made already. So, get into it now. The millionaires are coming. And you know what? You could become a millionaire with just 1 Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin Meister always says, proud Zionist Jew as he's called now, work on building your stash up to 1. If you get to 1, can you see a way to get to 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever financially you can do? My advice, set up a dollar cost averaging scenario. Now, for those of you over the pond in the States, you've got Swan Bitcoin, which apparently is a phenomenal way to not only dollar cost average in, but then it automatically sends it to an address of your choice. We don't have that here. So we tend to be stuck with Coinbase. And myself, my daughter Buffy, Elaine, we have all been bashing our head against a wall trying to set up dollar cost averaging with Coinbase. And if anybody can tell us why it won't accept it, even though we validated bank accounts, etc., it's the most frustrating thing on the darn planet, as the biggest exchange out there currently, or the most well-known exchange out there. All we want to be able to do is for a dollar cost averaging through Bitcoin to buy the coin. It doesn't matter if we got to move it off manually to the Trezor. We just want to know why the hell Coinbase won't accept it when we validated all of our bank accounts, which is so frustrating. So Swan Bitcoin, for goodness sake, get over here into Europe and the UK as fast as you damn well can, please, is my battle cry. Okay. 5 converging factors. Bitcoin's rally is just starting even after the 150% surge that it's enjoyed already. Just 7 weeks ago, Bitcoin was trading down in the dumps at 3.7 after one of the worst trading sessions in the crypto market ever. In the wake of that move, there are many analysts calling for the crypto market to fall even lower than it had, but digital assets quickly rebounded across the board in a show of resilience. For the newbies watching this, just around 50 days after the crash, and Bitcoin is now trading at 9.2 as this went out. Obviously, it's back down just under 9, 150% higher than the 3.7 lows. A stellar performance that puts almost any other 100 billion plus asset to shame. Although impressive, analysts are convinced that more upside is on the cards or in the cards for the crypto market, citing a convergence of technical and fundamental factors boosting BTC's outlook. What is this doing? It is just reaffirming what this regular guy from the UK, are trying to put out on this channel. We are all so well placed for Bitcoin millionaire status if we just believe it. There's an old saying, I don't know if it's Henry Ford or Napoleon Hill, but they say what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's look at that another way. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So if you think Bitcoin can go to a millionaire, keep putting that out there. $1 million, keep putting it out there. Now for you, those of you that are younger than me and Gary, sorry, Gary, you've got that 10, 20 years, 30 years maybe, that perhaps we haven't. So, you are going to see $1 million Bitcoin. I am convinced of it, so build your pot up to 1 Bitcoin if you can. There's loads of stuff going on in the chat. I can't see it all. It's moving too quickly. So I'm not going to look over there because I end up commenting halfway through somebody's conversation. So I can see it moving over there. But if you want my attention, you've got to type in UK Bitcoin Master first. Onwards with the show. Here's a good one from Decrypt. Gold shortage proves Bitcoin's superiority, argues that flipping exchange that won't get the dollar cost averaging right. Kidding. What are they saying? Just in brief, gold is in high demand, but the global supply is struggling to keep up. Coinbase suggests that it's further proof that Bitcoin is a better store of value than gold. Bitcoin's technological advantages include easy transfers and divisibility. What does that mean if you're brand new? Well, you cannot take a bar of gold and slice the corner off and just take it through customs, take it to another country, send it to another country. You can with Bitcoin. It is divisible down to a Satoshi. There's 100 million Satoshis. I think that's right, guys. 100 million in 1 Bitcoin. That is divisible, as Rocky said, I think 8 decimal places to the right, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Gold isn't. So a lot of advantages. And I just personally believe, Rocky, I don't know whether you're here with us, but if he's watching the chat, he can click JC's message to allow it or not allow it. It's almost like you're coming out with something. Thank you, Rocky. I appreciate that. There are so many advantages that Bitcoin's got over gold, too numerous to go into. And the millennials, they've been surveyed, and I think something like 75% of millennials surveyed said, forget gold. We want a digital currency like Bitcoin. So that is the new wave that's coming. people, and you've got to have that vision of where this thing is going to go. Buffy talking about DCA, Dad, dollar. Oh, okay. You chat in the chat, Buffy, about your dollar cost averaging. This is my daughter who, thought Dad was mad when he first got on the Bitcoin bandwagon. So thank you. And Buffy's even telling me that Rock is here. Thank you, my darling. Oh, God, people, don't get too sickly over this. That's my lovely daughter, and I love her millions. And I'm allowed to say that because it's my show. So what about you getting some of your kids, grandkids, brothers, sisters, whatever, to come and find my channel and check out what Bitcoin's all about, perhaps? So let's have a look at something else I found. Stock to flow creator, which is Plan B as he's called, or $100,000 Bitcoin, says Bitcoin is not a toy anymore. Again, validating what I always say on this channel. Bitcoin is not a toy. This is something that can change your finances out of all recognition. This is something that is going to change the world unimaginably over the next 20, 30, 50, 100 years. And if you are in the right place in Bitcoin, you are in a movement that even when our life ends, we are playing our part now for that movement to carry on for future generations, to take back financial control from the robbing, stealing, filthy, dirty bar stewards that are banks, central banks, governments, etc., that want to suppress the masses, keep us down while they get richer and richer and richer and richer. So this is a movement, people. If you take the time, I've just recently read or listened to a book by G. Edward Griffin called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And seriously, it's 24 hours of listening. And it is the most incredible audiobook I've ever listened to in terms of zooming out hundreds of years to see how populations have been manipulated by governments, by huge banks, by cartels, the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England. And I, for one, are on this mission. It's twofold. One, to build my Bitcoin fortune for us and then our kids. But two, to educate the masses on the changing world that's taking place. And it's going to happen over decades and decades and even hundreds of years. But it's coming because the genie is out of the bottle. What's the other one? Pandora is out of the box. I know that's not a good analogy. That's supposed to be a bit of a ghosty one, or I don't know, something not nice. But it's out and you can't put it back in. And this is going to change the world. Perhaps I'm rattling a bit, but I don't care. This is going to change the world. Maybe not in my lifetime, but in my lifetime, we're going to see dramatic growth within Bitcoin. And this guy, Plan B, is right. Whether you believe in his stock to flow model exactly, whether that's going to pan out exactly, or whether it's actually Bitcoin's going to go to the upside of that and shock the hell out of all of us, no one knows. The point is, what he's saying is, it is not a toy anymore. It is not a fad anymore. This thing is not a toy anymore. Plan B told Peter McCormack in a May 1 podcast episode. It's maybe not an asset anymore as well, he said, adding, it's going to be much bigger than that. I tell you now, Bitcoin is a monster and you are not going to stop it. It is like a juggernaut that's got no brakes and it's going down a steep incline. It is not going to be stopped. So you either jump on the train and enjoy the ride, or you stand at the station and you watch it as it disappears out of sight. And I'm telling you, people, get on that Bitcoin train. You won't regret it. Fundstrat, Bitcoin price will rise to 17,000 after the halving. I don't believe in price predictions. I don't predict whether it's going to go down, whether it's going to go up. I don't buy into these predictions. The reason I'm showing you this is it is underpinning everything I'm saying on my shows, that we are all in the right place at the right time. That's the fundamental message that I want to get across on my shows, to inspire you and the newbies to keep investing and dollar cost averaging as much as you can when you can, and building that Bitcoin stash. I won't say offended by selling, but Bitcoin is not, in my opinion, it's only my opinion, Gary, is not to be bought, profit and sold. It's to be bought and hold and watch it accumulate over time, because it is such a scarce aspect. Just my opinion. And finally, I don't know who crypto.com is, but it's bringing Bitcoin mass adoption to Europe, one country at a time. Apparently, this Mariana Gospodinova left Binance in 2019, and she's taken the lead as Crypto.com's general manager, of Europe. Via the combination of attractive products and localized efforts, she and her team are making it easier for the continent to use crypto. Now, is that good or is that bad? That is good. That is going to aid adoption. Casso, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us. I've only just seen you pop up there, and anybody else I haven't mentioned. It's great to have you all with us on the show. Nevertheless, the point is, this is good for Bitcoin, is all I'm saying. The more nation states, the more countries that hear about this, hear about crypto, it doesn't matter what they get into, whether it's one of those HIT coins out there that people want to play around with. Sorry, Gary. Whatever it is, that it's going to ultimately lead them to this monster that is called Bitcoin. Okay, quick interlude in the middle of the show. I want to give a shout out to the show sponsors. Dan down in Mexico, he heads up justlearnbitcoin.com. If you want to know anything about Bitcoin mining, wallet setup and backup, long-term storage solution, end-of-life planning, vanity addresses, mining, absolutely anything, do check out justlearnbitcoin.com. You can see everything that they do across the top. They've got a great shop with things like the BTC bracelet that I'm wearing, amongst other things. The apparel store's pretty neat as well. All the merch, all the swag you could ever want. I want you all to go back to the homepage, and I want you all to scroll down on that homepage and click this big black box. It says, please help return 14.2 Bitcoin to Phil and his family. That will take you to this website that was put together by Rocky Palumbo, who's in the chat with us. With my help and a few others' help, we're trying to create awareness of a lovely gentleman from Ohio who used to be a pastor. He was in the military in the Vietnam War. Him and his family have taken in disadvantaged children, and he was scammed out of 14.2 Bitcoin whilst doing a firmware update on his Trezor. We've done a couple of videos. You can scroll down on the first page, and we did an interview, Rocky, myself, and Pastor Phil, as well as another one Rocky did with a guy from Bristol here in the UK. You can check out how Phil was scammed, and if I scroll down, I believe it was, here we are, a DNS BGP hijacking attack. So do check it out. Click on the family tab. You can read this lovely story, this very sad story, moving story of bagpipes, Bitcoin and broken dreams. It's only one scroll, and you're at the bottom. There we go, just one scroll. And then finally, Rocky has put up the transaction ID of the scammer that stole Phil's coins. And we want you to make a tiny donation. You can click at the bottom of any one of these pages, and that will take you over to a donation site that Rocky has kindly put up called Tallycoin, where you can make a donation in Bitcoin, in Litecoin. Oh crikey, I think B-Rhodium, I think there might be one as well. But make a tiny donation to Phil's cause, because we want to get him up to 1 Bitcoin. Then we'll do a live show with Rocky, myself and Phil, because Phil will want to thank every donator personally for any type of donation, be it $5 or $500. So let's get back to the show. Some tweets I found. Bitcoin Tina, I'm a big fan of this guy. He speaks his mind. He is controversial, but how many hodlers will trade out of Bitcoin for some worthless project thinking it's the way to make more Bitcoin? The siren song of false promises by people who are nothing more than marketers. Money goes to one. Every project rides back to Bitcoin. And I wholeheartedly agree, which is why I talk about tweets like this. Whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Bitcoiner Ansel Linder. I've had Ansel on my show as a live guest. He is Bitcoiner through and through. He's got some phenomenal philosophies. He's been on Bitcoin Meister's show many times, and I was proud and privileged, if you go to bitcoininterviews.com, to have interviewed Ansel with his thoughts on Bitcoin, why and how he got into it, etc. During the last gold rally, 2011, many tungsten-filled gold bars were found, businessinsider.com. Don't have to worry about that with Bitcoin. No way to fake it. There we are. You cannot fake Bitcoin. There are only ever going to be 21 million. 2 or 3 million are going to be lost forever, or the keys are gone. So there are only ever going to be maybe 18 or 19 million coins to share between 7 billion people. That is why I keep saying, get one Bitcoin. When you've done that, see if you can work a way to build that up to 2 and beyond. Guy Bennett is in the chat. Whether he's in or whether he's drifted off, I don't know. But forgive the expletives. I don't swear on my channel. Buy a little Bitcoin every week, says Guy. Immediately remove your new beautiful Bitcoin from the exchange and store it in a wallet where you hold your private keys. Don't worry about the price. Don't you dare sell, and don't bleeping buy any bleeping coins. That is it. My TED talk over. I think that is superb. And Guy, if you're in the chat, way to go, my man. I love that. So, hey, Guy Bennett, one of the guys. And interestingly enough, if you don't know this, Guy bought the top just under 20,000 in December 2017. And he watched his holdings crash all the way back to just over $3,000. He held strong and dollar cost averaged through. He's in the chat, strong hand. He dollar cost averaged and held through the 2-year bear market. And here he is back seeing Bitcoin's rise. And Guy, man, you need a great, you got a pint in your hand there, but you know, you need someone to buy you a pint to be able to hold through that when you bought the top. I mean, I've been with you, Guy, but you know, I bought at like 1,500 British pounds, not almost 20,000. So, you know, strong hand, my friend. Guy's always posting out there on Twitter, so follow him on Twitter at Guy D Bennett. But there you go. Forgive me for the expletives. I'm not an expletive person. Ivan on Tech. I mean, this guy's got tens and hundreds of thousands of followers. He's a big dude on YouTube. Now, Warren Buffett called Bitcoin rat poison squared not so long ago. Bitcoin is up 25% in 2020, while his portfolio of dinosaurs, airlines, trains, banks, etc., is down massively. All wealth managers need to be responsible and get at least a bit of Bitcoin. I absolutely agree with that. And OGs like Warren Buffett, hey, he might be extremely, extremely wealthy, but these are the millionaires and billionaires that won't be them in the future, because even when, perhaps, this is just an example, he passes his business maybe down to his kids, for argument's sake, you know, they'll probably sell it on and get into digital currencies. And that is how the wealth transfer will subtly happen. If you're new, you've got to understand this. You're not going to notice it day to day. It is going to happen as, you know, people like us, the OGs, get older and older, then we die. And if we've got a traditional business, we leave it to our children and they don't want it. So they sell it out and get into the new found money of digital currency. Just have a bit of vision and understand how that is happening over time. And interestingly enough, when I was listening to The Creature from Jekyll Island, it was very much looking back over 200 or 300 years at the history. And it's fascinating how it changed so subtly that 99% of populations, they didn't even see it happening. It was so subtle. So maybe this new Bitcoin phenomenon is going to be the reverse of all of that. And we, the Bitcoiners, are going to take back control from those dirty, filthy banks, governments, central banks, cartels and the like, if you take my point. Sorry, I'm on a bit of a rant on this, if I'm absolutely honest. Bitcoin Liz, don't know this lady, but what action would you take? Imagine you worked with computers in the 90s. Imagine you worked with the internet in the 2000s. Imagine you worked with mobile apps in the 2010s. Do you see missed opportunities? Luckily, you have a new chance with Bitcoin. That is phenomenal. Whoever she is, that is thought-provoking, isn't it? Imagine, would you have loved to have been one of those .com millionaires? Would you have been one of those early investors into, say, Amazon? You've got a chance with Bitcoin. Don't miss it. Yes, it's a risk. Yes, it might not work. But, most of us feel very strongly and very passionately, as do a lot of, venture capitalists and billionaires out there. They're heavily invested into it, that it's going to work and the genie's out and you're not going to get it back in the bottle. Great tweet there from Liz. And the final one I found. Now, this is Riggs BTC replying to himself, but he said bonds and interest rates have collapsed. Oil has collapsed. Many fiat currencies have collapsed. Real estate next, maybe. These sectors combined have a value close to 1 quadrillion. With trillions being printed, one has to realize how enormous of an opportunity Bitcoin is right now. Where is all this wealth going, he says? Gold, 8 trillion. Fiat currencies, 90 trillion. Bitcoin is 0.16 trillion. So just 5 trillion into Bitcoin divided by the supply puts a price at $250,000 a Bitcoin. And Bitcoin will blow gold out of the water and absorb wealth like a sponge. 100 trillion? You do the maths. I'm not going to sleep tonight. This is so exciting. I'm delivering this training and it's really fizzling me inside with what we are involved in, peeps. So miss out on this phenomenon, no financial advice intended, at your absolute peril, because I just know, and I've done it a million times, I just know that being invested into Bitcoin, my family's taken care of for generations to come if I teach them where it is, where I've got it stored, what my keys are, etc., etc. And that's the skill here, not just about owning it. How do you pass it down if, God forbid, something happened and both you and your partner, spouse, wife, husband were killed in a car crash, plane crash, and your children don't know how to access it? So I'm all over that like a rash right now, and I hope you people are as well, because a bank will do it for you. But in Bitcoin, it is personal responsibility that if you don't have this set up and anything does happen, and we all think it's never going to happen to us, but what if it does and you are not set up for your descendants to access your Bitcoin on your demise? People, it is gone forever. Google on the BBC website a Welsh guy who threw his computer down a landfill site and lost 7,000 Bitcoins buried in a landfill site because he didn't think Bitcoin was going to be worth anything. That is on the BBC. You can watch it. And that is like not taking the little bit you've got right now seriously, and then in a decade or two, you pass away suddenly, or you lose your keys or throw them away, or you don't look after your treasure like your family's financial future depends on it. It's gone forever. There's no coming back. So personal responsibility is what you've got to really grasp if you get into Bitcoin. So I've got a quote to pull the show together, and I love this one. A successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks others throw at him. Now, how does that relate to what we're doing here? Everybody wants to laugh at you and ask you why you're still doing that and what the hell are you investing into some kind of flipping scam for. They're the bricks being thrown at you. Your job is to grab the bricks when they come at you, set them down and build the foundations for what's coming. Do you get where I'm coming from? So a successful man, female, male, is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks that is thrown at him. So people, let me get me back up on the screen. That is my Bitcoin show for today, Monday the 4th of May 2020. I hope it's given you all a buzz. I hope you pick up the link and share it out on Twitter. Do follow me on Twitter at UK Bitcoin Master. As I end the show, obviously, I'll put up all my social media links. But do go and check out my channel at least one, BitTube, Library.tv, Facebook, because, you know, I don't want to be one of those that loses their channel. But if I do, then you people can instantly go and find me live streaming on Facebook. I'm maybe looking into Periscope and being able to go live stream to Twitter, which could be an option. But right now the channel's okay. But don't just walk away when the show's over and not go and check at least one of my social medias out. So that is the show for today, peeps. Like this show, like it, share it, subscribe, bash the bell button so you get notified. I want to get the subs up as this bull market starts to happen after the halving. So anything you can share and get people to head over and check my channel out, I would greatly appreciate it. That is it. We're done. I will catch you all on Monday at the regular UK time of 6 p.m. Have a great week, whatever you're doing, peeps. I'll catch you all on Thursday. I'm Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, signing off for now. I will catch you all on Thursday. Bye. I'm out of here.